Do the Work, by Steven Pressfield. Introduction. Imagine a vast, empty field. On one side stands a knight, that's you. And on the other, a dragon. That dragon is not some mythical beast from a forgotten story. It is real, and it has a name: resistance. This is the battleground of your life, the place where every dream you've ever had is either realized or lost. On the field of the self, you are the knight, and resistance is the dragon. Today, we're going to talk about a book that isn't just a book, it's a field manual for that battle. It's called Do the Work, by Steven Pressfield. Now, Pressfield isn't some academic in an ivory tower. This is a man who lived in the trenches of creative warfare for decades. Before he became the celebrated author of historical novels like Gates of Fire and the cult classic The War of Art, he was a struggling writer who faced failure after failure. He was a man who knew the dragon intimately. He understood its tricks, its whispers of doubt, its promises of comfort tomorrow if you just give up today. This book, Do the Work, is the wisdom he earned from that fight. It's short, sharp, and brutally honest. It's not about productivity hacks or morning routines. It's about understanding the nature of the enemy that lives inside all of us, the force that actively works to stop us from doing anything important, from writing a novel to starting a business, to even getting in shape. My promise to you in this episode is this: by the time we're done, you will not only understand this invisible enemy, but you will have a clear, powerful strategy to defeat it. You will learn why starting is so hard, why the middle of a project feels like hell on earth, and why finishing, that last final push, is where the real heroes are made. This isn't just about getting things done. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be. So, let's step onto that field, look that dragon in the eye, and learn how to win. Book summary. Every great story starts with a hero facing a challenge. For you, the challenge is that project you dream about, that calling you feel deep in your bones. But there's an enemy standing in your way. An invisible, malicious force whose only goal is to stop you. Steven Pressfield gives this enemy a name: resistance. Resistance is that feeling of procrastination when you know you should be working. It's the sudden urge to check your phone, clean your desk, or do anything other than the one thing you need to do. It is the voice in your head that says, "You're not good enough. Who do you think you are?" Or "You can always start tomorrow." Pressfield tells us that resistance has a few key characteristics. First, it's invisible, but you can feel it. It's a repelling force, like two magnets pushing each other away, radiating from the work you know you need to do. Second, it's insidious and it's a liar. It will tell you anything to stop you. It will flatter you, bully you, or reason with you like a lawyer just to keep you from sitting down and doing the work. It has no conscience. Third, resistance is impersonal. It's not out to get you personally. It doesn't know who you are. It's a force of nature, like gravity or the wind. This is important because it means you shouldn't take its attacks personally. Everyone who has a body experiences resistance. And finally, and this is the key, resistance is infallible. Like a compass needle, it always points to what matters most. The more resistance you feel towards something, the more important it is to your soul's evolution. So, you can use it as a guide. That project you're most afraid of, that's the one you have to do. Resistance doesn't fight fair, and it doesn't fight alone. It has allies. One of its most powerful allies is rational thought. This isn't the kind of thinking that solves problems. This is the chattering monkey mind that produces endless excuses, alibis, and justifications for why you can't, shouldn't, or won't do the work. It's the voice of the ego, which is always afraid of failure and judgment. To do great work, Pressfield says, we have to bypass the rational mind and tap into something deeper: the self, the unconscious, the intuition. Another surprising ally of resistance? Friends and family. Not because they are bad people, but because they know you as you are, and they are invested in you staying that way. When you try to change, to grow, to become a new version of yourself, it can feel threatening to the people closest to you. They may not even realize they're doing it, but their well-meaning advice and concern can become another form of resistance, holding you back. So if we're up against this powerful, internal enemy and its allies, how do we even stand a chance? Well, the good news is, we have allies too. And they're not what you'd expect. Our first ally is stupidity. That's right. Pressfield says the three dumbest guys he can think of are Charles Lindbergh, Steve Jobs, and Winston Churchill. Why? Because any smart person would have looked at the impossible tasks they set for themselves and given up before they even started. To do something great, you have to be a little bit clueless about how hard it's going to be, and a little bit arrogant to believe you can pull it off anyway. You have to stay stupid. Don't overthink. Don't analyze. Just act. Our second ally is stubbornness. Once you start, the worst thing you can do is stop. You don't have to be a hero. You just have to be a pain in the butt. Be mulish. Be ornery. Sink your teeth into resistance's backside and refuse to let go, no matter what. Our third ally is blind faith. You have to believe in something you can't see or touch. Pressfield shares a wonderful exercise from the book Improv Wisdom. Imagine you're holding a small box. Now open it. What's inside? Maybe it's a frog or a gold coin. The trick is this: no matter how many times you open the box, there is always something in it. That's the faith you need. The belief that if you show up to do the work, the ideas will be there. The inspiration will come. There will always be something in the box. And finally, our greatest ally is passion. Fear is what saps passion. But when you conquer your fear, you will find a bottomless well of passion to drive you forward. With our allies assembled, we're ready to begin the battle. And the first rule of engagement is simple but radical: start before you're ready. Don't prepare. Begin. The enemy isn't a lack of preparation or a lack of money. The enemy is resistance. If you give it even a second, your chattering brain will give you a million reasons to wait. So don't wait. Jump in. Courage begets more courage. Pressfield is so serious about this that he puts you on a research diet. You're allowed to read 3 books on your subject, and that's it. Research can become just another form of resistance, a way to feel like you're working without actually working. As you begin, you need to remember 2 mantras. First, stay primitive. The creative act is not sophisticated, it's primal. Babies are born in blood and chaos, and so are great ideas. Don't try to be clever. It's better to be stupid than smart, better to be primitive than sophisticated. Second, swing for the seats. Don't work small. Don't aim for a bunt when you have the power to hit a home run. Even if you strike out, a home run swing is better than a successful bunt. Start from a place of power. You can always dial it back later. So how do you actually structure this big, scary idea? Pressfield's mentor gave him a piece of advice that saved his bacon many times. God made a single sheet of yellow legal paper exactly the right length to hold the outline of an entire novel. Don't over-prepare. Boil your idea down to a single page. Break it into a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's it. That's all you need to start. But where do you begin on that page? Here's a trick from screenwriters. Start at the end. Figure out where you want to go, and then work backwards from there. How do you know where you want to go? You have to answer the most important question of all. What is this thing about? What is your theme? Once you know that, you know your destination, and you can map the journey to get there. He gives the example of Moby Dick. What is it about? It's about the clash between human will and the malice of nature. So, Melville needed a monster, a white whale. And he needed a man obsessed enough to challenge it, Ahab. Knowing the theme, the climax is inevitable. Ahab and the whale duel to the death. That's the end. Now, you just have to work backwards to set it all up. So you've started. You're in motion. You're covering the canvas, getting that first draft done as fast as you can, as if the devil himself were chasing you. And at this stage, you must suspend all self-judgment. The inner critic is not allowed in the room. Your only job is to get something, anything, down on paper, no matter how flawed. Don't reflect, just act. And as you work, something miraculous starts to happen. You begin to feel a tailwind. This is assistance, the opposite of resistance. Just as the universe is actively hostile through resistance, it is also actively benevolent. Your work begins to generate its own energy, its own gravitational field, attracting ideas, opportunities, and help from unexpected places. This is the universe responding to your love, your passion, your will. It has no choice. You're weeks into the project now. You found a rhythm. Ideas are flowing. The dread has lifted. You're having fun. It's almost too good to be true. And then, you hit the wall. Out of nowhere, terror strikes. That you suck voice is back, howling in your head. You're halfway through, far enough to be invested, but not far enough to see the end. You are poised on the brink of a breakthrough, and you can't stand it. The prospect of success looms, and you freak out. This, Pressfield says, is the moment you enter the belly of the beast. This is your trial by fire. And to survive it, you need to understand the fundamental laws of this dark place. Pressfield lays out 7 principles of resistance. 1. There is an enemy. This isn't just a feeling, it's an intelligent, malign force working against you. Recognizing this is the first step to victory. 2. This enemy is implacable. It's not here to slow you down. Its aim is to kill your dream, your genius, the gift you were put on this earth to give. 3. This enemy is inside you. It's not your boss, your spouse, or your critics. It comes from within. You can fly to Pluto, and resistance will be right there with you. 4. The enemy is inside you, but it is not you. This is crucial. You are not to blame for the voice of resistance in your head. Everyone has it, Picasso, Einstein, all of us. You are not your resistance. 5. The real you must duel the resistance you. On that field of the self, you are the knight, and resistance is the dragon. There is no negotiating. There is only battle. 6. Resistance arises second. What comes first? The dream. The idea. The love for the work. Resistance is just the shadow cast by that brilliant light. Before the dragon showed up, there was a hero? You? Remember that. The opposite of fear isn't courage, it's love. Love for the work. And 7. The opposite of resistance is assistance. Just as you have an inner enemy, you have an inner ally. It's the dream itself. It's the love. It's the passion. You can align yourself with this universal force and ride it into battle. In the belly of the beast, resistance will put 2 tests to you. Test number 1. How bad do you want it? There is only one correct answer, totally committed. Anything less, and you will fail. Test number 2. Why do you want it? If your answer is for money, fame, power, or to prove someone wrong, you're on shaky ground. The only answers that will get you through the fire are for fun or beauty or because I have no choice. This work is who you are. It's at this point that most projects die. The big crash happens. The financing falls through. The book gets a terrible review from a trusted friend. The code breaks. My own newest book, The Profession, crashed horribly after I showed it to people I trusted. They hated it, and they were right. Pressfield compares this moment to Navy SEAL training. The trainers are trying to break you, to see if you'll crack. They have a bell, and when a candidate can't take it anymore, he can walk up and ring the bell, and it's over. You and I have a bell hanging over us too. The difference is, we're alone. No trainers, no teammates. It's just us, the project, and the bell. Will you ring it? A crash feels like the end, but it's not. A crash is good. It means you have to grow. It forces you to figure out what went wrong. The problem is not you. The problem is the problem. And a problem can be solved. Go back to that single sheet of paper. Where did you go wrong? Face the problem you tried to avoid at the beginning. Work the problem. This is the path out of the beast's belly. You face the failure, you solve the problem, and you emerge, wounded but stronger. You've passed the test. And now, you face the final challenge. The end. Finishing a project is the most critical part, and it's where resistance fights the hardest. Pressfield calls this shipping. It takes guts to declare your work done and send it out into the world to be judged. Why is it so hard? Because of the fear of success. He quotes Marianne Williamson, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We are afraid of our own brilliance. When we finish, when we ship, we are choosing heaven over a book about heaven. We are choosing the real thing over its pale reflection. When we ship, we become exposed. We open ourselves up to judgment, failure, and humiliation." Pressfield tells a story about his first professional writing job, for a movie called King Kong Lives. He was sure it was going to be a blockbuster. It wasn't. The premiere was empty. The review in Variety read, "We hope these are not their real names, for their parents' sake." He was crushed. But a friend snapped him out of it, saying, "You're where you wanted to be, aren't you? So you're taking a few blows. That's the price for being in the arena. Stop complaining and be grateful." That was the moment he became a pro. Not when he succeeded, but when he failed in the real world and chose to keep going. And here is the one thing he can promise you. Slay that dragon once, and he will never have the same power over you again. Yes, he'll still be there every morning. Yes, the fight will still be hard. But you will have beaten him once. You will know you can beat him again. And that changes everything. So you've done it. You've shipped. You have created new life, something that didn't exist before you brought it into being. You have joined an invisible fraternity of people who don't just talk, they do. So what now? Pressfield tells one last story. When he finally finished his first novel after 17 years of trying, he went to his mentor's house to share the good news. His mentor said, "Good for you. Now start the next one." And that is the final lesson. Take a moment to celebrate. And then, tomorrow, get back to work. Start before you're ready. Commentary. What I find so incredibly powerful about Steven Pressfield's message in Do the Work is its raw honesty. In a world full of life hacks and productivity tips that promise an easy path, this book tells you the truth. The path is not easy. It's a war. And understanding that you are in a war changes everything. The concept of resistance is, I believe, one of the most important ideas of our time. It gives a name to that universal feeling of self-sabotage that we all experience but rarely understand. By personifying it as an enemy, as a dragon, Pressfield gives us a way to fight it. We're no longer battling some vague internal flaw like laziness or a lack of discipline. We are knights in a noble battle against an externalized, albeit internal, foe. That mental shift from self-blame to strategic warfare is freeing. It allows us to fail, to get back up, and to fight again tomorrow without feeling like we ourselves are failures. The book's real genius lies in its simplicity. Stay stupid. Swing for the seats. Work the problem. These aren't complex theories. They are commands from a battle-hardened general. They are designed to be remembered in the heat of the moment, when you're deep in the belly of the beast and rational thought has abandoned you. It's a book that's meant to be used, not just read. Its pages should be dog-eared, highlighted, and stained with the coffee of late-night work sessions. So, how can you start applying this wisdom today? Here are a few simple actions. First, name your dragon. The next time you find yourself endlessly scrolling through social media when you know you should be working on that essay, or that business plan, or even just going to the gym, stop. And say the word out loud. This is resistance. Just acknowledging the enemy, identifying it by name, takes away so much of its power. You're no longer a victim of a bad mood. You're a warrior who has spotted the enemy. Second, do the work for 2 hours. Don't think about the entire, terrifying project. That's overwhelming, and resistance loves to use overwhelm as a weapon. Instead, just commit to 2 hours. Set a timer. For those 2 hours, your only job is to be stupid and stubborn. Put words on the page. Make the phone calls. Write the code. Don't judge it. Don't analyze it. Just act. You can win a battle that only lasts 2 hours. And third, ship something small. The act of finishing is a muscle. You need to train it. So today, finish and ship something you've been putting off. It could be an important email, a difficult conversation, or a single paragraph of your project. The size doesn't matter. What matters is taking it from in progress to done. Feel the fear of hitting send and do it anyway. Slay one tiny dragon today, and you'll be stronger for the bigger one you have to fight tomorrow. This book is a reminder that the battle for our dreams is the most important battle of our lives. It's not just about what we create, it's about who we become in the process of creating it. The work is what forges us. It burns away the trivial and leaves behind the essential. It turns us into the heroes we were always meant to be. That was A Journey Through Do the Work, by Steven Pressfield. We've touched on the core strategies and the warrior mindset at the heart of this incredible book, but let me be clear, a summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The real adventure, the real transformation, happens when you decide to travel there yourself. The true power of this book is in having it by your side during your own battles, as a constant source of strength and clarity. If any of the ideas we discussed today lit a fire in you, I wholeheartedly encourage you to get a copy. Reading it isn't just about absorbing information, it's about arming yourself for the most important work of your life. Also, if you found this summary valuable and it helped you see your own struggles in a new light, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep growing, and keep fighting the good fight, together.